Let's face it, guys. If there's one thing that goes together perfectly, it's caffeine and horror. Whether you need an extra boost because you're staying up late to watch your favorite horror movies,
what's your favorite scary movie?
Or you're looking to start your morning with a terrifying twist, Haunted Cups Coffee is the ultimate coffee brand to bring these two things together. With hauntingly good flavors like Beetle Brew and Trick or Treat, or brand new roasts like Sugar Skull and Brain Dead Vacation, Haunted Cups Coffee has flavors every coffee connoisseur would die for. You can follow them on Instagram at Haunted Cups Coffee, or you can order online at hauntedcupscoffee.com.
Here at the Haunting Hour, it's no secret we are huge advocates for health and fitness. And one of our sponsors, JNX Sports, is here to help everyone conquer their demons in the gym. Their pre-workout powder, The Curse, is stacked with beta-alanine, L-citrulline, and 155 milligrams of caffeine per serving. They also have new stim-free pre-workouts, flavored creatine, and fat burners like the Omen and the Ripper. Head on over to jnxsports.com and use our promo code HauntingHour at checkout for 15% off your entire order. Are you looking for an apparel company that combines your love of fitness and the supernatural? Well, enter Cryptid Strength. With some of the coolest graphic t-shirts showcasing our favorite cryptids like Bigfoot and Mothman lifting weights, this apparel company is ready to help you look your best in the gym. Swing on over to cryptidstrength.com and check out all of the apparel they have to offer. And remember to use our promo code HauntingHour at checkout for 10% off your entire order.
Hi, neighbor.
Hi, neighbor.
Here at the Haunting Hour, we love to enjoy a cold beer while working in the studio. And the only one for us is a Narragansett beer. Try a few of our favorites: the Atlantic Light Lager, the Fresh Catch Blonde Ale, and of course, if you happen to find yourself on the Orca, then you have got to grab a crisp, refreshing Narragansett Lager. It is made on honor and sold on merit.
Fish sharp, swallow you whole. Shaking, tenderizing, down you go.
And welcome back to the Haunting Hour.
Sorry.
My name is Ryan Brown, your co-host here at the Haunting Hour, and I am joined, as always, alongside my brother Tyler. Ty, why don't you tell everybody why you're coughing? You're not smoking a little bit of the weed, but we just set our fog machine off in the studio for the first time since Halloween. I can't even see Tyler across the table.
What does Adam say? He's like, it looks like a 70s rap video in here when they have all that fucking the smoke from the fog machine.
Sometimes I like to keep the windows open and just scream loud so like people think we're having sex or working out. They're not sure. It's just real guttural noises like
Wow, it smells good.
It smells like maple syrup
A little bit, yeah.
like
a little sugary tinge to it.
Setting the mood here for tonight.
No, it looks good. Yeah, if I cough some more, I apologize. This should help.
Whoa.
Got the ice cold claw tonight. I am in the cut. We kind of chatted a little bit. We'll keep this real brief. About a week and a half in right now, Rye. Guess how much I'm down?
Week and a half.
Week and a half.
Yeah, can't be any more than 6 pounds.
6.5.
Damn, that's fucking nice.
Probably mostly water weight.
Yeah, but who cares?
Plus, yeah, clearing of the carbohydrates. But, yeah, I'm right on track. Hopefully I look okay ski weekend because I just remembered there's a hot tub.
Oh, fuck. Quinn, I apologize in advance. When I take my shirt off, not going to be pretty. What are you doing for, like, carbs for the day?
I really don't track carbs. Yeah, it's usually around my training sessions.
Right.
That's kind of where I keep mine. No, I just keep my calorie sort of peak around 22 to 2,500.
Nice.
And that, as of right now, that's a lot less than I've been doing, so my body's kind of adapting efficiently to that. I think as the months progress into March and April, I'll definitely dial that back. But as of right now, we're down 6.5, man. Feeling tighter, feeling better.
I like that.
Seeing some vascularity, and those are all indicators of weight loss.
So, like, your baseline calories, what were you at during your bulk maintain?
Probably around 33.
Oh, so you cut that by about
1,000, yeah.
Wow, yeah, your body's probably like, what is going on? I need to pull from every fat storage, glycogen storage to just cut you up.
Exactly. And you can kind of tell when, like, your body is really starting to, as AJ Sims says, to churn. It's like after you eat a meal and you get up and you're walking for 5 minutes, if you're already starting to get hungry again, and you can kind of feel like, you're not crazy bloated or anything, you feel like your body's an engine. That's kind of where I'm at, and that's exactly where I need to be because, as you know, it takes me a while to lose the tummy adipose tissue.
I am not looking forward to it, but mine's going to be coming fast and furious. I'll be
Just lift the bottom, just lift the bottom half of your shirt up, right?
No, but I'm going to be in the same exact boat as you in probably 2 weeks' time. So I'm just glimpsing into the future here. I am not looking forward to it.
Are you going back to Rockville?
Yeesh.
And that's in that same time frame?
First week of May.
All right. So, well, you got plenty of time.
Oh, for sure.
But at the same time, you don't have a ton of time.
No, it's going to be a like all systems go Olympia style cut where I'm like, I gotta make weight in 4 weeks. So
yeah,
time to fucking hit the accelerator. Let's send this thing.
When you have an end date that's like something where you can't go past or can't miss, I think a lot of people do better. Me personally, I do a lot better when I extend it and I go a lot slower.
Yep.
Just for my body type. But yeah, you got to have an end goal, man. All right, we're going back to basic with our nips. A nice Jim Beam bourbon for you, sir. There you are.
Thank you.
And I'm back on that Johnny Walker Scotch.
And yes, it is party week here at the Brown Brothers Haunting Hour. Not only do we have a banger of an episode coming to you guys tonight, it's Fire and Ice this weekend, Ty. It is when Putnam, Connecticut turns into Bourbon Street, more or less.
You ought to know, you just got back.
We got that, and the Super Bowl is this weekend. The New England Patriots are in it. I hate to say it, because we plugged them
Don't say it.
No. We plugged them so much last week, but god damn, it is a motherfucking waster weekend on our way.
What does it feel like to get clocked by promiscuous eyes? Would I be alright if I tried all my best pickup lines?
I can't fucking wait, so I'm going to rip this nip in honor of Waster.
And you know what else? They're dropping a fucking single on Friday.
No, next week.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
oh my god, this would have been the biggest weekend of our lives.
I think it happened for a reason because he put it in between Fire and Ice and Ski Weekend.
Oh, well, Valentine's weekend as well.
Yeah, hey, there you go. Make a little love to Waster. I love it. All right, let's rip these bad boys.
Cheers, brother. It's so much better than the stuff we've been doing.
I like it a lot.
You know what I want you to do, Rye? Next week, you stop at the liquor store. You get some random nips, and we'll do a reverse nip roulette.
You don't want to play that game with me.
It can't be worse than the 99s, man.
It was fucking bad. But no, so jumping into the horror tonight, I posted the video on our Instagram, and I think that was about a week late, but did you watch the clip from UFC? I think it was 234. It was 2 weeks ago, Saturday night, when UFC got bought out by Paramount Plus. It's like when WWE got bought out by Netflix. You could watch Raw every week on Netflix, so you can watch UFC every week on Paramount Plus. But UFC 234, I think it was after the fight was won. It was a walkout heading to the locker room. And the camera is on, I forgot who the fuck it was. I'm not a huge UFC guy. I do watch sometimes, but the camera's on him. You're walking through the crowd, and behind the guy, like 5 or 6 people back, is fucking Ghostface to a T, like the exact costume. And the first time I saw the video, I'm like, what the fuck am I watching? And it was the coolest pan of, like, Ghostface was lurking behind all, like, the interviewers, the crowd, specifically to promote Scream 7.
I think it's original. I think whoever thought of that idea, they struck gold. I mean, they did it with Smile about 7 years ago when they planted those...
It was during NFL.
MLB.
Both of them, I think. Oh, no, it definitely was MLB.
I think it was
because
baseball.
It was behind home plate.
Yeah.
Scary as fuck, dude.
But they just planted, I'm air quoting, actors who just sat and smiled really creepily and looked directly at the camera. And every once in a while, the camera would either pan right to them or it would pan like an outro shot and you would see them in the background.
Can you imagine being like, our mom is a huge MLB fan, just like an older person, and it like zooms in on one of them? You're probably like,
oh my God, I'm so fucking scared right now. Like mom getting up off her, the rocker. Just darting upstairs and slamming the door. Donna, you shut up. I'm so fucking scared right now.
You shut up! I'm so fucking scared right now, you shut up!
oh my God.
But I think the Scream marketing, that like takes it one step up. Because not only is he in it, but he's kind of acting. He is following this fighter.
Right.
And if he theoretically goes after this fighter, I mean, who else could he kill?
He could take anybody on.
Exactly.
Yeah, very, very awesome marketing by Paramount. They produced the Scream franchise ever since Scream 5. So that was like 2022.
1 out of 2 ain't bad.
No. I honestly like both of them. But I think that marketing is cool. I think that is such an original way to put horror into like a mainstream kind of thing. There are a shit ton of people who watch UFC.
And if you think about it logistically, it's a lot cheaper than making a fucking trailer, paying for a minute and a half of airtime during an event like that. So speaking of original things, I was thinking to myself last Friday on my way to work, thinking about sequels and series and all that stuff in the horror genre, and I thought, what the hell is my favorite standalone horror movie in the past 10 or 15 or 20 years? Like, we're getting so many series.
Oh, for sure.
We have Insidious, we have Smile, we have The Conjuring, The Nun.
Sinister.
Yeah, we got everything.
Yeah.
But
Scream.
As far as standalone horror goes, do you have a favorite, Rye?
Man, that's really tough because I feel like the box office, it doesn't matter what company you work for, you're pushing a sequel to just get money.
Exactly.
So to get a standalone horror film, that's tough. There's 2 that really jump out to me. I think one of them, actually there's 3 now that I think about it. So I think one of them, the Netflix film Apostle.
Oh, yeah, okay.
We've talked about it before on the
Yes.
show. I think it was so well done. It was so creepy. It was so culty.
Gothic horror.
Yes. Very cool, very original. I'd throw that up there. I also really enjoyed Infested. I know that was across the pond. It was French?
Yeah, the Canadians made that.
Okay, yeah. So I thought that was
La Vermin or whatever it was called.
Very, very cool film. Incredibly well done.
Creepy crawly film, man. I haven't watched it since I watched it that first time.
I don't think I can. But as for like a U.S. film that came out, that hit the movie theater, I think Talk to Me has to be one of the best ones I've seen that is just that standalone film.
Not Longlegs?
Okay.
That's an absolute joke.
Oh, no.
That's a joke, Rye.
Hey, find my DMs, slide right in. Ryan Brown 777. I fucking loved Longlegs. I thought it was so fucking cool. Fuck you guys for not liking that movie.
Weapons?
No. I honestly don't know what I hate more. Weapons or the new fucking Strangers movies.
Yeah, you ripped that apart when that first came out.
Don't get me started.
No, going back to Talk to Me, man, great choice. That was a fun movie, but that was a hard movie to watch. But it had possessive traits to it and supernatural traits. And it was very, as far as the shooting goes, like, It was very original when they grab the hand and the camera just flips.
It was artistic as fuck. And I think that the whole practical effects for that movie, when you saw like some of the dead people on the other side of the table, unbelievable.
Genius.
So I think that's honestly got to be up there for best standalone horror films.
I think that would round out my top 3. So my other 2, number 2 being Malignant. Dude, it just, for some reason, you bring it up to like a horror fan and they're like, oh shit, I remember that movie. It's like
James Wan.
James Wan, he produced that.
Right.
But that was a Blumhouse original.
Yes.
So there were no sequels to that. But you bring that up to a horror lover and they're like, oh yeah, I remember that. It's like they just don't remember how good it was.
Very cool because it was a like horror action movie.
Yeah, and I think what kind of threw some people off was too much action, which I agree there was. But at the same time, go back and watch it. They fucking drive into the elements of horror so hard early on. It is such a scary movie.
I don't think you can get a better, like, you're at home on a Friday night looking for something to watch that's kind of spooky but will entertain the hell out of you.
Yes.
You throw Malignant on, dude, all-day popcorn flick.
Dude, it's also gory as shit.
Yeah,
and it's
opens the back of her head.
In the, in the cell, the prison cell. But I think number 1, underrated. No one talks about this movie for some reason, and it's Lights Out.
Oh, dude.
Lights fucking Out is, no pun, it's a Lights Out movie.
Minus the last 3 seconds.
Yes, but up until then, it's a 9.5.
Yeah, that movie fucking slaps.
It's original. It's jump scares. As far as effects go, they do so well with it.
Let me ask you this. Have you ever watched a movie, even the short film, Lights Out, on YouTube? Have you ever watched something that built more tension?
No. Well, once.
Okay.
That's when you guys probably, if you're young enough, you probably saw this. It was on YouTube. Our buddy John showed us this.
It's like the Honda Civic commercial. Well, you didn't know it was happening at first, so.
Yeah, I guess you weren't tense. Right. So that was the hardest jump scare I've ever experienced. If I was ever going to die from a stroke, it would have been then.
Oh, my God.
I had to leave John's house because I shit my pants. But the YouTube, because you made me watch the YouTube.
Oh, scared the fuck out of me, dude.
Dude, just the clicking of the lights, and such a genius concept that it can only show up when it's dark, and then if you just flip on the light, it goes away.
Yeah.
Genius.
That's why I think, even watching like the full-length feature movie, some of the tension I felt when the light went off, and you saw her in the background.
Yep.
And it kept getting closer and closer. By the time the light was on, your heart is beating so fast because you're like, they're going to turn it off at some point.
And it's going to be in my fucking face.
Very, very good.
Yep, and I was thinking about this too. So last year, Sinners came out. There definitely won't be a sequel to it. I know it did that well as far as monetary-wise and Oscar nominations-wise. Mm-hmm. I don't think they'll make a second one. But that was a pretty fucking good original take on the vampire lore.
I think there are 2 types of people in the horror community. Specifically last year, they're the kind of people who liked Weapons, who thought it was the coolest movie they've ever seen, beautifully made. And then there are people who think that Sinners is the best horror movie they've seen. Regarding, like...
Over the past year?
Yeah, like vampire lore, something spooky. I'm siding with Sinners. I fucking loved that movie.
And I fucking hate Weapons.
And I fucking hate anybody who keeps pushing that movie, because I still see it on Instagram now. People are like, oh, this movie Weapons, it is so fucking artistic. And I'm like,
I think you mean autistic. Do you remember the scene where it's the fucking M16?
Above the house?
It just pops up.
Yeah,
It just pops up. I know it's about gun reform, and I get that, but just so random.
I just don't...
As you say, don't like it.
I have no words for how fucking stupid the ending of that movie was. Thank you. Good night. I will be here next Monday.
All right, Rye. Well, I hope you're ready to eat, because you're in for a treat tonight.
Sound like a Halloween pun or something?
It's not. They just rhyme. We're talking about a cryptid tonight, so I'm excited.
Oh, my God. Quinn Peters is shaking in his boots.
And we're talking about a cryptid that isn't, I guess technically it is urban legend. It's not supernatural. This is a good old-fashioned, boots on the ground, fucking cryptid.
Are we talking like an Andre Rand, Cropsey kind of thing?
No, because there's no serial killing at all. This is a sister episode to The Ghost Pirate of Deer Island. That kind of shit.
And I am in.
Except way more scary and way more, I personally believe, tangible than The Ghost Pirate.
So something that can, like, manifest in real life.
Exactly. So tonight we're talking all about the Rat Man of South End. The face you just made.
New York City?
England. South End by the Sea. Specifically. I guess people just call it South End over there. So South End by the Sea, I guess just geography-wise to give you guys a visual, if you're looking from a satellite and you see London in the UK, you got to go about 25 miles directly west. And South End by the Sea is, not so ironically, right on the water. So it's a coastal, I won't say a town because it's a lot bigger than that. I would say picture like, if you guys have ever been to Portland, Maine, it's kind of like that. So have you heard of the Rat Man?
No, but this makes me think that it's something to do with the Black Plague.
Very close. I will applaud you with that.
Don't fucking tell me that this is a human-sized rat, because I don't like rodents really at all. I dig squirrels. I think they're pretty cute and they're fun to watch, but rats, bro, a 6-foot rat coming after me, there is nothing scarier. Like maybe a spider, but no.
So this kind of plays into this. Have you seen the VHS? I'm sure you are aware of them. Have you seen any of them? I think there's 7 or 8 of them out now.
I watched the original 3 that came out, I think it was.
Or the first VHS is 4.
Okay, I watched those.
Yep. So if you guys haven't heard of them, VHS, it's a huge series, and they're all anthologies. So it's like between 4 and 6 episodes in the actual movie itself.
Shudder exclusive?
It might be a Shudder exclusive.
I think they are now.
Yes, okay, yeah. That makes sense. So on the VHS 1994, there are 4 episodes, and I personally think that the 90s VHS stories are the best. There's one called, I think it's called All Hail Ratma. And it's all about a journalist in like the 1990s who hears about homeless people who go underground and they find sanctuary and heat and food from this master. That's Ratman or Ratma. We'll post a couple photos of the actual special effects.
It's the rat thing inside the tunnel.
Exactly.
I've seen it before, yes.
So we'll post some photos if you guys haven't seen it, but just keep that in mind as I tell this tale of the Rat Man of South End, because this is what people say haunts the piers of South End by the Sea. So according to the oldest accounts, the Rat Man's origin lies in what's known as the Great Sickness of the early 1700s. The Great Sickness was, in essence, it was kind of like a sister plague to the bubonic plague. So the bubonic plague, I think it was in the 1300s. Years and years and years before this happened. And with that, the vector, the thing that actually transmitted the disease primarily were rats. So if you got bit by a rat, if a rat walked near you or across you, if you touched a rodent or a rat, the bacteria would get on you and it would spread. So the first sort of symptoms of the Great Sickness happened in 1705. And about a year later, when ships came into the South End by the Sea harbor, which was a very big trade outpost back then, the ships would be quarantined until the plague doctors and the officials would go on the ships, and then they would say, yep, you can come into harbor, or, this person has to go here. You guys got to get out of here because we see symptoms of the Great Sickness. We don't want it in our town. Things like that. Now, that same year, in 1706, an unnamed man, so his last name was Smith, and that's documented, but they have various sort of names for his first name, who was what was known as a dock runner and a rat catcher back then. So a dock runner would just pretty much bring product from ship to ship to ship, and then in his spare time, he would catch the rats and kill them. That was kind of how he got paid back then.
What a way to live. Good Lord.
Anything for the king's quarter back then, man. He contracted this disease worse than other people at that time. So this bacterium, this specific bacterium, it started to eat away at the external flesh. So when the plague doctors kind of saw this, what they decided was they locked him up, almost like, what's your favorite story from Edgar Allan Poe?
The Cask of Amontillado?
Yes. So in that, right, they lock up, or they chain up that guy and brick him up.
Yes.
So they did that same thing to this gentleman, who had the last name of Smith. They did it underneath a storehouse on the pier. So they locked him straight up. With the plague, they did not have, obviously, any kind of medication that could treat you or cure you. So they locked him up, and they put other plague dead bodies with him.
And they bricked him up or just locked him?
They locked him in there.
Jesus, why not just kill him?
Dude, I think back then it was more of especially because it was such an early time frame with the Great Sickness, they were so afraid of the transmission of the disease. Like the Black Plague itself, it was 200 or 300 years earlier, but they did remember what happened if they got the bubonic plague. The certainty of death, I think it was like 70 or 80%.
Yeah, that's enough to send you into a panic. I mean, just look at us with COVID.
Yeah, exactly.
Same shit happened.
Do you remember the games we lost during COVID, by the way?
I would be Mr. Olympia probably right now.
You'd be a lot more shredded than you are. But they ended up, like I said, locking this guy up under a storehouse, and they just left him. So they assumed he would die. About 2 years later, in 1708, they opened up the storefront, and there was no body inside. So a little bit creepy. They had accounts that said that there were a ton of rats inside, and then obviously there were the bones of the people who died of the Great Sickness. And they said, quote, that the rats were changed and disciplined, end quote. So this was all in a log from the pier that the storefront was on. Now this kind of comes into play later, but 1 year after this, in 1709, that's when the people of Southend by the Sea started to experience and encounter the Rat Man. The earliest written reference to the Rat Man was, like I said, in 1709. A coastal watchman, so he had a journal, and he described, quote, a bent figure along the mudflats at low tide on August 15th, walking where no man ought to stand without sinking. All right, not so weird. The weird part was he also said that he saw a number of rats next to him. So let me ask you, ecology master, do rats go out on mudflats?
No.
I would argue they would probably stay somewhere that's dark and quiet.
Underground, usually wet, something where a rat will be able to do the gross things that rats do.
So why don't you like rats, by the way? I don't mind them.
Have you been to New York City?
I have. What job was it where I saw? It might have been at Anthony's house. But there was a fucking rat in a trap that was the size of a fucking cat. That's when I was like, all right, rats are a little scary.
Yeah, no, they're gross.
Yeah, they are. And they're technically, like I said, they're vectors, so they carry diseases.
Yeah, they're like a bat.
So it said that 2 nights after this watchman made his report, he vanished. However, his boots were found in his office, and they were gnawed through by little teeth. So you could kind of assume that it was rats that did it. This part is lore, where they said that he vanished. However, it is documented that he, in his log, said that he saw someone walking on mudflats where an actual human could not walk. If you guys have ever seen the Dirty Jobs episode of Mike Rowe walking on the whatever it is, the clam flats or the oyster flats.
When he gets stuck in his boot, it's like halfway underground, yes.
You know what? You got to cue up a Mike Rowe quote.
This is hard on the back.
Yeah, that's why I had an operation about 3 months ago.
Your spine?
Yeah.
You got a scar?
By the mid-1800s, the Rat Man was seen all over South End. Now, kind of in 1840, South End started to expand its drainage system, and it carved tunnels beneath the city itself. The sewer workers who were working on those tunnels, they complained of, quote, tools going missing, only to be found days later arranged in neat piles in dry random chambers underground. One foreman filed a report claiming that a man, quote, with a face like a wet bone and eyes that reflected lantern light, stood watching them from a tunnel junction, and when confronted, the figure dropped to all fours and vanished into a culvert. Now, about 30 years later, as South End Pier started to expand, 3 workers in 1894, they disappeared over the course of a single winter. Officially, all were listed as accidents. Technically, they said it was falls into the water and presumed drowned because the bodies were never found. However, unofficially, the remaining crew who worked with these 3 people, they spoke of something that lived beneath the pier. They said that they heard scratching through the pylons at night and felt vibrations beneath their feet, as though something heavy was climbing below them rung by rung. One survivor even claimed that a hand wrapped in a gray hairless skin reached up through the boards and grabbed his ankle.
What?
I keep laughing because Ryan keeps making these faces.
Oh my God.
So we're getting on, like, we're getting to the point where this is too long to be just a normal human.
Yes, and I think that at this point there's so much documentation that makes it not seem crazy.
Right.
Like this could be folklore. This could be like old wives' tales that people are telling. But there are multiple people who have actual documentation of something that happened that resembles this rat man.
So let's see how your history is, Rye.
Not very good.
What did the towns of London, or I won't even say the towns, what did Europe do during World War II because they were so close to the front? If there were planes overhead, where would they go?
Oh, like bomb shelters?
Exactly.
Underneath the cities.
So they started to, in like 1935, they started to build bomb shelters. They connected a lot of these bomb shelters to the sewer system so that they had egresses in and out just in case they got kind of shored in. In 1941, the Andrews family, who was sheltering during an air raid, reported hearing a voice beneath their concrete floor. So they said that it was thin, and it was chittering, and it was whispering. Now, their shelter did get...
No, I was say, don't tell me it connected to one of these underground tunnels.
It did, so...
No way.
So they ended up going into the sewer. So they followed, for whatever reason, I don't think they did get bombed in 1941, but they didn't go back up through their basement into the house. They ended up going into the sewer. And a few days later, when the family did not surface, a rescue team went down into the sewer, and they found the family alive but unresponsive. But what's really nuts is that there are so many different tales that coincide with what was happening to Southend at the time. When this started with the Great Sickness, the ships were quarantining, people were avoiding the dock, and then when trade kind of went back up years later, that's where they saw the Rat Man. Mm-hmm. Then when the sewers were built, that's where they saw the Rat Man. Then when the bomb shelters were built, that's where they saw the Rat Man. That's kind of what gives this credibility to me.
Yeah, it's not like the Rat Man's walking around the city at night.
With, like, rats following him.
Right. It's if you're in his lair, if you're underground, close to it, that's when these documentations actually come out.
Precisely.
Horrifying. It's so unbelievably believable that there could be somebody like that living down there.
But at the same time, in every city, probably in the world, you have a sub-city.
Oh, yeah.
Not only do you have these sewers that technically work to bring whatever, dirty water and clean water to specific areas, you have these chambers, you have sub-cellars, you have like an actual city underneath. And I think it's not spoken of, but a lot of homeless people go down there.
Yeah, I think is it Portland? It's somewhere
in Oregon.
Out west, yeah, where the entire city got built on top of. And there's still a city underground.
Which is, like, think about that. And then you think about Paris, the catacombs.
Yeah.
That was years and years, hundreds of years ago, they built Paris. Most likely they sort of mapped out other cities on something like Paris.
Yeah, when they know it could actually work.
Exactly.
Then it poses the question, like physically, regarding evolution, could something actually survive down there and thrive? So I'm talking that single being's not going to immediately pass away because it has some type of water, some type of food, something that keeps it going where over the span of 50, 60 years, people could encounter said Rat Man, or what I love to picture at this point, people could encounter something underground much like those beings from The Descent. 'Cause
Yes.
there's something down there to keep them going.
It almost harkens back to the Sonny Bean episode.
Yes.
The only difference is we have this one entity. We have the Rat Man, right? So it has to be something supernatural theoretically.
But I think this is an amazing example where folklore of the supernatural intertwines beautifully with realism.
Yes.
This is something that, to
Could
my
happen.
core, I think, like I believe in ghosts 100%. This is something that, if you told me that they pulled a fucking 7-foot rat hybrid man out of a sewer,
Oh my God.
my mind would explode. But give me 5 minutes, I could process that scientifically and be like, oh, I understand why that actually happened.
Now, going forward in time, in 1953, a sanitation inspector in South End by the Sea claimed that he followed a, quote, trail of rats into a storm drain that were acting strange when he saw a figure crouched in ankle-deep water, its spine bending at an impossible angle, end quote. So that's what he logged.
That's the same guy who, in Gray Matter, goes into the sewer
Oh my God, yes.
underneath Bangor and sees the spider the size of a German Shepherd.
And then retires the next day when he's like a year from his pension.
That's the same guy.
Now, there are encounters between the 50s and the modern sort of times, the 90s, the 2000s. But one of the more compelling ones in 2007. So a CCTV footage camera. It showed a swarm of rats stopping abruptly and turning towards the camera, almost as if they were responding to a signal just outside of the frame.
Oh, so they were like looking at something.
Behind the camera. So rats, let me ask you this, because you know kind of animals. Can you train a rat?
Man.
You can train a lot of things, but you can't train that many of them. Maybe, I don't know.
Well, that kind of goes back to, remember the legend of the Pied Piper? That guy who came into, this probably plays very, very well off that, who came into cities during the bubonic plague. Somebody would come in playing his little pipe. We like to say Rocky Bragg with his weed pen. The Pied Piper. He would come into these cities and a trail of rats would be following him. And they knew that death was upon them. Makes me think that there is some intertwinement here with those stories. But I don't think it's so far-fetched to believe that there was some type of hybrid man who DNA kind of got changed. I know we're talking like, oh, get bit by a spider, you turn into Spider-Man.
We're talking Peter Parker.
But this is like a very creepy, dark version of that, where, call me crazy, I don't think this is super far-fetched.
No, we don't know shit about DNA, about splicing, about adding things. Well, I mean, let me rephrase that. We, as in the normal population that don't get all the data that people are doing behind the scenes, we don't know shit about it. I'm sure they know stuff about it. They were doing experience in the 40s with, I think the Nazis were doing dog hybrids with humans. I mean, then you get into the dogman lore. Mm-hmm. You get into all that kind of shit. A rat is a mammal. If you're going to sort of splice DNA, why wouldn't you use a mammal, right?
Right. And I think that there is something that could not be procreated at that point, but something's DNA could get altered in the right environment, say low light, high humidity, dark, dank, where this thing could begin to thrive, mutate in some way, where it creates a human rat hybrid that is 5'11", creepy as its nose gets big. But then, I mean, you're talking in, the early 1700s when this started to happen. Let's say this thing underground procreated. It had babies, and it created another one of these human hybrids that they are witnessing in 1950, in the early 2000s, so on and so forth.
It's like I said, it's documented that homeless people tend to go underground if they can't find shelter.
Makes sense.
So why wouldn't this, like I said, this guy in the 1700s who had a vendetta, maybe he did have some sort of energy with him when he got another homeless woman pregnant. This came out.
Oh, you're talking after he was chained up.
Yes.
And then he got out some way.
Well, yeah, we'll finish with that idea. There's one more pretty important account. So this happened in October 2020 that I just want to bring up. So this was during the second lockdown. This was during COVID. 3 South Essex college students, they ended up going into a sealed service tunnel, which was near Kersal, which is pretty much adjacent to the South End Pier. They said that after, when they made their report to the police, they said they did it because they were bored during lockdown and that they heard rumors of the Rat Man. So they said in their report that they noticed the rats first and that they were lined up neatly along some of the tunnel edges. So it's not like they were all lined up. When I was reading the report, it was like every once in a while they would see a rat lined up adjacent to the rats they saw 10 or 15 feet prior.
Explain that to me like I'm 5.
So it's not like, so I don't want you guys picturing rats lined up
Right.
and just looking at each other on either side of the tunnel. It was a random rat that was in the same position as the rat they saw before.
Oh, something you wouldn't experience in nature. That's too linear. It's too...
Exactly.
I get what you're saying.
They said that about 5 minutes into the tunnel they were in, they saw at the junction point that they were going to take a hunched figure tall enough to brush the ceiling. Quote, its spine was bent sharply forward and its head was twitching. One student also said that its nose was lifted into the air. Now, when they saw this, they hightailed it. They ran. One of the kids said that when they turned around, it was coming after them. So it wasn't corroborated with the other two, but this is what one of them said. Okay. Now, 2 of the kids were found that same night on a beach, which one of the culverts kind of led out onto. The other student, I don't know if they got separated, but he was found 3 days later with bite marks all over his legs.
Was he underground?
He said that, well, in the report that I read, he said that he didn't remember.
Oh my God.
So they were on 2 completely different sort of beaches.
All right, so I was immediately going to write that off as...
Just people saying...
like dumb kids during
Yes.
COVID, but they've already read the legend before, so they know that if you look down a tunnel, you're going to see a figure with a hunched spine that bends not normally.
Right.
So that's what they're going to post all over social media. Oh, we saw the figure, his spine was...
We're in the clickbait sort of idea here.
The fact that other people saw this one guy with bite marks on his leg?
They had a sworn police report in October of 2020.
That's either this group went to the lengths of creating like small rat bite marks on somebody with like a pencil, like or some type of knife or something that made it look like rats bit him, or the shit actually happened.
Right.
Let me tell you where I will never fucking go.
Oh, dude, can you imagine like leaving a bar one Friday night at like 1:30 at night in South End, and you just walking down the street and you see like a bridge that opens up to a door.
I'm picturing like a horde of rats like all scrambling into a small little opening.
And then something else emerging.
Or you can open that up, kind of. Like it's like a wooden door where there's
yeah.
a small hole, and then it opens up to a giant tunnel. And the end of said tunnel
is the Rat Man.
And I will be like you after watching that video, the Honda video, I will shit my pants.
Well, at least you're in a sewer.
This story that's fucking like 8 out of 10 scary.
What's different about this, and what's very similar to like the Dogman, is you have so many different accounts across decades. And not just accounts of someone going to the fucking National Enquirer, which talks about Bigfoot and aliens every week, and them saying, oh yeah, I saw the Rat Man. Like these are, one of them was the Watchman's log. Like that's his job. That was the one that was really early on. One of them was a family that was in their basement during a fucking...
World War II raid.
Exactly. One of them, like I said, this is a sworn police report. Like this isn't just someone writing on, Ranker. Oh yeah, I saw, me and my friends did this.
Right.
This is like a document where obviously you're not going to get persecuted if you lie on it, but like why would you go to the extremes of doing it?
We say it a lot on the show, but at what point does it stop being like a trick or a coincidence? Like
you know what it is? Where's the line, Jan? Where's the line?
It really comes down to that, though. Like, at what point are you going to actually lie about this?
Right. And for what gain?
Exactly. I think this is much like the Lizard Man of Skateboard Swamp, where you had some documentation that really, really makes it credible to the point where you can't turn a blind eye and be like, oh, this whole thing's a fucking hoax. there's something there that is concrete proof that something happened. This
Right.
could be some guy who's living in the sewer who's faking everybody out, right? But something is actually happening down there,
Right, but now we're spanning 300 years.
which is crazy, which I think it could be something that procreated down there because,
So then we're back to Sonny Bean.
and well, everything down there was right to allow it to survive.
Okay. Well, let me ask you this question. What sort of energy, supernatural component-esque things, hoodoo, voodoo, whatever you want to talk about, did Mr. Smith give off when he was locked into the house and left to die?
You mean like a last-ditch call? He knew he was going to die.
Right.
What does that put out to the environment?
Whether he said verbally, like, whoever saves me, if you save me, I will give you my body, whatever, or is it like when he passed away, his energy went into, it sounds fucking crazy, but a rat.
And then it turned into this.
Right, like the apex rat, which was closer DNA-wise to a human, his energy went into that rat itself. Or even you could argue possession.
I think it's more believable to go along the side of like an evolutionary trait where something
I agree.
mutated or something happened where this thing was growing underground, lived underground. But if you want to side on the supernatural, maybe this last ditch effort put something into the environment where there was some type of entity that, I'm not going to say controlled the rats, but like say something was around that fed off death, that fed off of like chaos,
It's like Mothman, but
that allowed this person to keep living just in a different form because it knew it was going to feed off of more fear, more torment that this rat man was going to bring.
so we're in agreement that there's something underneath South End by the Sea.
I'm not going under there ever, so yes, I think so.
Yeah, so like I said, like there were accounts of, there was one winter when 3 men went missing, and on their death certificates it said, and it was a quote, presumably drowned, all 3 of them during one winter. However, when you got to the accounts of their co-workers, when they said, yeah, we heard things on the pylons, overnight, we saw something in the shadows. One of them said that a fucking gray hand reached up through the the boards and grabbed his ankle.
When I have a nightmare tonight, it's going to be that. I will end it with this. Listeners, just try to think about being somewhere or like even in your own house. If you had a fucking spider crawl on you, if you had a bat lunge at you when you open the attic, you feel kind of, as Michael Scott says, I'm not going back to the annex because it's icky back there. Like if something's crawling on you, it's gross. You don't know.
It's vermin.
You don't know what it's carrying. Put yourself in the situation of being underground where it is fucking moist, it's moldy, it fucking smells bad, and you have, let's say, 7 fucking rats crawl over you. It's disgusting. Put that onto a level.
The way you just said that with your hand, it's fucking disgusting.
Put that onto a level where this rat human mutated into something that's fucking 5'11".
Are you picturing something on 2 feet?
Yeah.
Me too. Okay.
It's got that gross ass tail and it's walking towards you and reaching at you. At what point is enough enough?
Where's the line? Where's the line, Jeff?
Dude, it is, just put yourself in that situation. You're alone underground and that happens to you. I don't think it can get worse.
Like I said, this is a god-honest cryptid, bro. This is like back to my roots.
I like it. I like it a lot.
So where would you toss it on the Brown Brothers Haunting Hour scare scale?
Oh, we're rolling at least probably an 8.
That little? After the tangent you just went on.
Oh, if I'm stuck underground, that's with a giant rat man coming after me, that's probably a 9.1.
Well, how about you got to walk through one of the tunnel systems, and it gets more rat infested.
Yeah, it's gross.
And then you see at the end of the tunnel with your little flashlight this rat man who's not looking at you but hunched over, and then you kind of make a little shuffle noise and it turns at you.
Probably the same exact way I would feel being alone in like a haunted funeral home at 2 a.m. So probably like 8.5.
No, this is not that.
I
We've-
think.
We've been agreeing for a while, but come on.
What do you say? Like a 9.7?
Well, there's no fear of your life in a funeral home at 2 a.m. I'm not
Okay.
afraid of some ghost whispering through me. Like, it's going to scare me jump scare wise.
No, I'm going to say like an 8.5 somewhere, like 8.7.
Ah, you're a fucking moron. That is dumb as shit. Listen, this is not the topic to go back on. This is a topic where you got to be real. This is a dirty ass rat man, hunched over, crawling towards you, making a weird mewling sound.
Yeah, and I'm underground. All right, yeah, 9.2. 9.2. Crucify me, dude.
Wow, what a bitch. I was gonna say a 7.
Fuck you.
Nope, I said it. Yeah, I vote a 9.
But yes, nonetheless, you guys, that is our episode tonight, all about the Rat Man of South End. We hope you enjoyed this episode. If you can do us a solid and give us a 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts, we would be eternally grateful to you. You guys can also rate us on Spotify and follow us on Instagram. We are at Brown Brothers Haunting Hour. Ty, we have a lot of awesome episodes coming out soon. Tell me if this is a bad idea. Me and you put our horror brains together. We come up with one of the most banging topics we've ever had regarding the winter. I'd say number one was...
We already did that.
This is why I need your help. Okay. We do this before ski weekend. We have an unbelievable episode that we both really work hard on to make it as good as...
The Frozen Hills people. I think it's possessions. Possessions in general. We've never gone over a possession.
Well, I'm talking more winter.
Okay, so I gotta save this for what? The spring?
Yes.
What is it? That spring is possession season between, I don't know, April and fucking June 6th?
Ty, I'm trying to make sure Nutsack Quinn has a great episode he can listen to regarding
Then
the
we'll
winter.
do the winter cryptid of Nutsack Quinn. It's a little cold in the balls, walking through the
Cold classic, if you will.
Rock hard.
Exact opposite. Oh my god.
Oh yeah, it's true. No, rock hard because it's frozen.
But no, I think that we should really come up with an episode.
Are we capped on winter horror?
I don't know. There's got to be so
we'll
many
research.
different things we can figure out.
Okay, we'll research.
Well, nonetheless, to our listeners, we are going to have some great topics coming your way.
Possessions at some point.
There we go.
Haunted Putnam at some point.
Absolutely. We just hope you guys join us on this spooky journey. Thank you for listening tonight, guys, and we will see you next week with a all-new spooky topic.
And as always, we're the Brown Bros, and we're coming to you from the grave. I was going to say a 7.
F*** you.